I'm Ariana.
I'm Alexis.
And I'm Haley.
And we are doing
Shark finning.
Shark finning is a practice used around the world where fishers capture sharks and remove and sell their fins. Not only is it cruel, it's hurting all marine life.
Shark fins are particularly sought after for traditional Chinese medicine and shark fin soup, which is a delicacy in Asia.
The preferred shark species are the hammerhead, the mako, and the blue, and the soup fin. The great white shark and the tiger shark are the most common in northern Japan for their larger fins and meat.
In general, however, the fins of any shark larger than 1.5 meters can be used. Small sharks don't yield suitable fins, while some larger species don't produce fins of desirable quality. One set of shark fins usually consists of 2 pectoral fins. The first dorsal fin is used for smaller sharks, and in larger sharks, the second dorsal fin and the lower lobe of the tail fin is used.
Studies suggest 73 million of sharks are killed a year just for their fins alone. That's about 200,000 sharks a day. Scientists examined 51 soup samples from 14 American cities. DNA testing identifies 8 shark species, some of them endangered. A report published in the journal Marine Policy revealed that an estimated 100 million sharks are killed by humans every year. Paper added that the number of sharks being killed could actually be anywhere between 63 to 273 million sharks, captured as bycatch, which is a common term for untargeted species when fishing for other species like tuna and swordfish. Was reported to be 50 million sharks annually in unregulated and indiscriminate longline, gillnet, and trawl fisheries. The number of bycatch is not 100% accurate because not every fishery reports exactly how much bycatch they actually receive because they don't want to get fined for constantly taking more from the ocean than what the regulation is supposed to be. Sharks are apex predators. They play an important role in the ecosystem by maintaining the species below them in the food chain and serving as an indicator for ocean health. They are also keystone predators, meaning that they are important to human life because they maintain biodiversity and their removal can have a ripple effect that can spread throughout the whole ecosystem. For instance, the loss of the smooth hammerhead sharks causes their prey stingrays to increase. The larger the ray population grows, the more they eat scallops and clams and other bivalves, which harms our human fisheries. In the past 20 years or so, the demand for shark fin soup has increased and so shall rank. One bowl in the U.S. is $100, and especially in Asia when it's used for medicine and everyday food.
In the Australian TV channel CBS Learn, host Matthew Evans of his TV show What's the Catch episode What is Shark Finning? You can find it on YouTube. He heard about the 95% of shark fin cells that are in Asia. So he went with his crew to Hong Kong to find out where they are getting them from and what type of species they are. As they went on the streets of Hong Kong, the markets, which were mostly fin markets, had signs that said no cameras allowed with the red line over it. And when Matthew Evans attempted to go into one of the stores, one of the salesmen did not let him step a foot into the store and he wasn't allowed to film. Later on in the day, they found a store that were more friendly and allowed him to go in, but he could only bring in his translator, not his filmmaker. But lucky for the filmmaker had the opportunity to record outside because there was no doors, there was no windows. He can take an actual image of the different types of fins. And the lucky for Matthew, he had a mic on. So anything that he was asked, he got it recorded. He asked his translator to ask the salesman if the labels meant the different type of species, if that's how they're pricing it, or do they price it by size. They later found out that the labels indicate the size. The bigger the size, the more the price. They tried to get what type of species, and the sales were like, I don't know what type, but later on they found out that it consists of the great white sharks and the whale sharks. Later on, they try to take out more information as in where they fish the sharks. They found that in the coast of Australia and some other places that they cannot say. And until further note, you will discover more. Shark finning originated in the 14th century during the Ming Dynasty. Used to only be for the nobility because the sharks were so hard to catch. One of the 8 treasure fruits of the sea, signifying wealth, power, and prestige. 3% of sharks' body weight are the high values within fins, while the rest of the shark is relatively little value and often discarded or fed to the poor, almost feeding the whole entire town back in the days. During the 18th to 19th century, more people started to consume it. Consumption declined by 50 to 70% in China between 2011 and 2013. The demand peaked in the late 20th century. Shark fin trade doubled in between 1985 and 2001. Based on the Hong Kong trade, the market was estimated to grow 5% each year. By late 2013, demand declined and was no longer seen as a high trend in China. Later on in that same year, reports claimed that artificial shark fins that were being sold for fin soup contained dangerous amounts of cadmium and methylmercury. Because sharks reproduce so slowly, that when they are getting killed so quickly, their population is decreasing. So, if this continues, scientists have predicted that they could go extinct within 10 to 20 years from now. So, countries like Brazil, Canada, USA, and others have put up laws in place to help prevent finning. In the beginning, everyone who did practice of shark finning, it was more for a survival mode for them rather than a high demand. Currently, the custom became more popular throughout the years and became more of an attraction for money making.
Every year, an estimated 100 million sharks are killed, but the real amount is actually closer to 273 million. Out of these millions, about 50 million are killed as a product of bycatch. Close to 73 million are killed just for shark fin soup. Because of these numbers, in recent years, many shark species populations have declined as much as 90%. But some species, like the short-fin mako, scalloped hammerhead, great hammerhead, tiger shark, sandbar shark, bull shark, and oceanic whitetip, have seen almost a total collapse of population. If the population's decline continues, the most popular sharks to hunt will become extinct in a few years. In 1995, only 15 shark species were considered threatened, but by 2010, this figure had grown to over 180. Because these sharks are apex predators and a keystone species, removing them will cause prey species populations to explode, causing the ecosystem to be thrown out of balance. If a secondary predator species population is allowed to grow out of control, they can ruin the populations of other species in their environment. Fish species tend to thrive when sharks are present in their environment. Commercial fish species like tuna have been seen thriving when sharks are present. Sharks also help maintain coral reefs and seagrass habitats. For example, at the wildlife refuge of Kingman Island, coral reefs tended to be healthier and able to recover from disease and global warming better than coral reefs without sharks. Sharks provide the oceans with healthy populations and environments. If the oceans and its populations aren't healthy, destabilization of the ecosystem will cause severe changes in worldwide temperatures, causing destabilization of the rest of the planet.
The United States seemingly knows the importance of sharks, realizing how critical they are to the ecosystems and people, and officials are beginning to protect sharks on a variety of scales. In early 2013, the Convention on the International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES, listed 5 more species of sharks in its Appendix 2. A list of species that are not currently endangered but may become endangered without regulating their trade. Although Appendix 2 still allows trade in shark fins, the fishing is required to be sustainable, giving the species additional protection. Additionally, many individual countries are making their own protections. For instance, all sharks caught in U.S. waters must be brought to shore with their fins still attached
to their bodies, according to the 2010 Shark Conservation Act. Shearing off the shark's fins and dumping the body as he is illegal, but fishermen can still fish for sharks for the fins in the U.S. today. So they can still go out, but they have to, if they're out in the deep waters, have to come to shore, fin them, and then take them back out and dump them. So it sucks, but it's still legal. Since 1994, 22 countries have placed domestic regulations on shark finning. China is also working towards ending shark finning. To decrease the cultural value of fins, the Chinese government began prohibiting the serving of shark fin soup at official banquets in 2012. So meaning any officials that came to the continent along with Asia, visited China during official business, they stopped serving it as more of a delicacy, I would say. So, Congress then enacted the Shark Finning Prohibition Act, SFPA, in 2000 to ban shark finning and discarding the carcass at sea. The SFPA also imposed a fin-to-carcass ratio standard that prohibited any fishing vessel from landing at the U.S. port, with shark fins with weight exceeding 5% of total weight of shark. Even while some populations decline, which is keeping the fish market running, the importing and exporting of fins is still allowed. So, now Oceania is taking aim at the whole U.S. shark fin market. New bills to ban all import and export are working their way through Congress. Some states like California and Oregon already have made trade restrictions, others don't. A nationwide ban would help us instead of just having state to state bans, I would say, because it'd be easier if you just kind of got rid of it altogether, because doing state to state would just be harder. But a ban here would be a strong message to the rest of the world. Stop wastefully killing sharks. Getting the message to the rest of the United States out of the global shark fin trade will give these protections for the predators a chance to persist and grow and increase their population.
So our group in particular is against shark finning for the reasons being that,
well, once it starts, it's cruel. And yeah, let's just branch off of there, I guess.
I don't think that hundreds, thousands of millions of sharks should be killed just for a soup, personally, but that's my opinion. Because the soup, it doesn't even have a taste, first of all. It's cultural, yeah, I know, but it's just, they're only doing it for the texture of the meat, which is, I think, is so dumb. Like, we could use imitation. A waste of a species, first of all. Like, you're bringing our species, our shark species.
Not just that, they cut them off
possible
alive.
extinction.
Yeah. And it's
That's
not
cruel.
It's not even the fact that you're harming one species. When you harm the shark species, in essence, you are harming other organisms.
It's
the
the
ecosystem. So it's not just, okay, well, we're getting rid of sharks, everything's going to be the same. No, you are endangering other species and organisms.
Not just that, endangering your own human resources to make more money.
And it's just animal abuse, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, and even on top of that, you're not even harming an ecosystem, it's the entire planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Because one ecosystem is based off another ecosystem, and it keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then also, I think that it's kind of just to attract more tourists, because, again, since shark finning it is illegal here, and we don't really do shark finning in the U.S., it just attracts more people to go out to where they are. So, like in China, and I know in Japan, because it's more popular there, obviously people are going to go to want to try it because they know it's in high demand, and that's where it's at.
Yeah,
so
especially since it's more popular now, and it's not for the nobles anymore, it's just for everybody.
Yeah, as long as you've got the money to pay.
But I'm pro imitation shark fin. Like, I think we should substitute it instead of actually killing sharks for it. Anything else on that?
They only really make they kill alligators and snakes
for their skin.
Yeah. They only use that for sharks.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's gonna know it's fake.
Yeah,
just do it.
Even though it might be more, even though it might be more expensive and stuff, I think it's worth it in order to save the species. So
that has to do with our whole ocean.
Yeah, and that is why we are against shark finning, why we believe it should stop, and why, if you want to find out more information, there's a bunch of organizations and restrictions and laws.
World Wildlife.
Yeah, Oceania does it too. So there's
check
a
out
bunch of
some
places
websites
to check it out.
Join
and
a group.
Yeah. Watch
a bunch of documentaries like Blackfish mentions it. I don't know. Sad.
And that's it for our presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And hope you enjoy.
Bye.
Signing off.